Alright, hey, today we're going to learn about the text tool, and we're going to also learn about styles and how we can add them to our layers to make things look a lot cooler. So with the text tool, it's the giant T on the left hand side. When I click on the text tool, I get my options up top, and they look very similar to how they would look in Microsoft Word. So if I click over here, I have my font. If I go to the right, I have the size of my font. And then I could make it a justified left, I could center it, justify right. I might have options for bold up here sometimes if it's available with that text. And then to the right, I have my color. So right now I have a white background. I do not want to do white text. So I'm going to do dark green. I just click once on the canvas and I could type my name out. Now, if I don't like the size of my text or I could change the font, I just highlight it like I would in Microsoft Office. If I leave the tool, all I have to do is go back to the text tool, click over my text, highlight it, and change it. Photoshop gives us the option to go up to 72-point font. We can type in bigger. If I want to type in bigger, again, I got to highlight my text, and I could go up here and type in 125 if I wanted. I'm going to make it 110 instead. So now it should fit on my canvas. Move around wherever I want to, and then move on with the rest of my project. Now, if I wanted to change my text possibly an easier way rather than changing the size, I want to just get it perfect how I want it to be, because before I made it way too big, I can go click on my text layer, because now when I add text, it adds its own layer. I go to Edit, Transform, I could go to Scale. This way I can make my text taller, I can make it skinnier, I can make it go from side to side. I kind of have a little bit more control of the size of my text without just putting in a number. And I press Enter on the keyboard. To accept that change, I could go back to Edit, Transform. If I wanted to rotate it, I could. I could do all kinds of things to it. So my text looks pretty cool. I had a cool font as it was. But if I want to add a little bit more to my text to how it looks, above my layers palette, I have the adjustments here that we went over previously. Next to the adjustments tab is a styles tab. What this does is it adds a style to our text or whatever our layer is. It doesn't have to always be text. It could be whatever we're on. It could be a shape. It could be a picture. And it would overtake anything and add its style to it. So these are a few styles that are available just kind of by default. Now, to the right here, I have the couple of lines in a upside down triangle. If I click there, these are my options. There are different categories for our styles. So I can go to Text Effects 2. It's going to ask me if I want to replace the ones that are already here with it. Okay. And I have even more to look through. There are some really cool ones out there on the internet to download, and we'll go over that a little bit later on. But I could add all the styles here. I could settle on whatever I want, find one that's kind of cool. So going through all these, you could spend a whole class period looking at the styles, and I don't care if you do. You're weighing your options, and that's part of the design process. That's part of designing, is trying to see what looks good, what doesn't look good. Plus, too, getting to know this program, getting to know all these different styles, you'll have in the future different ideas of what you want to do. Like, oh, the style I saw before, I could apply it to this project. I wish I could have used it in the past, but it just didn't look right. Maybe it'll look cool now. So you go through, explore the styles, look at the fonts, go to defont.com if you want to look at more fonts that I can install on my computer and then change it over onto your project. Before I finish, I mentioned earlier that you could apply styles to not only text but to layers as well. So if I click on my background layer here, I could click on some of these styles and apply them to my background to give my name design a different feel, a different look. Not all the styles will work well. Some are just meant for text, some are meant to outline stuff, like this one is all checkered pattern because that's transparent. So that right there is the text and the styles, and that will be very useful for you all throughout this course.